Yes, there is a final. However, relax. Number one, it cannot hurt your grade. It can't. You could type C for every answer. And if you have a B going into the final, and assuming C is not the right answer, I should do that. I should make a test where C is the right answer every time. True story. I had a history professor in college. He made every question a 100-point test. He made every one true, false, and every one was false. And I was answering like, and this can't be right. So I purposefully changed 5 or 10 that I thought were the least likely to be false, and I got 10 wrong. Anyway, cannot hurt your grade. So if you go into the final with a B, the worst grade you can get is B. You understand?
So why are we even doing it then?
Because what if you want to help your grade?
Oh.
Right? Let's say going into the final, you're at a D, you kill that final. Okay, now you're at C or B range. It can help, it cannot hurt. Now, seniors, after today, we only have one class left, just Thursday. Your final will be different than everyone else's final, and you will be able to finish it within class. It'll be no problem, even if you're not here. Yeah, just make sure that you access Kia and look for something called World and Conflict Final. I don't know. I'll send you a text or to hey, go here, there it is, through Classroom or something. But honestly, it's so. Kaylee, what's your letter grade right now? Okay, so if you don't do the final, what's your letter grade? Nothing to worry about. Well, just hit C every time, or whatever. Can I help you too?
Yeah.
No one's listening. No, you can do like A or something.
Okay. Any questions on the final? How it's going to work?
Yeah.
So seniors, I'll try and make it available soon, whatever that means, like within the next day, it'll be available. Now, everyone else, there is a final, but same policy, right? It cannot hurt your grade. It cannot hurt your grade, but it can help your grade. So you might want to think about that. But it won't be the same final as the seniors. Right? I'm not saying it's any harder or any easier. It's just, okay, so let me go over 2 slides here, and then we'll shift gears. I tried to get this across to you yesterday, and this is competing claims of bodies of water. So this red line that you see, that's the area of the South China Sea that the Chinese claim. So everything inside this red line, China claims is theirs, which is basically the entire body of water. They claim it all. And that wouldn't be a problem if there are no other lines that intersect with that line, then it's no problem. But of course, that's not true. The Philippines have their claiming line, which conflicts with the Chinese line, potential for conflict there. There's something, the Vietnam line, which intersects with the Chinese line and, frankly, the Philippines. Okay, you've got this orange thing, which isn't even up here, but that belongs to this thing called Brunei. So they claim that they have islands out here. Okay, you have the green line, which is Malaysia. So it's a mess, and you'll notice that the U.S. isn't even part of this, and yet the U.S. is the dominant naval power there. The U.S. is the dominant naval power. And the U.S. acts as a sort of police force. We violate everyone's claims and then dare them to do something about it, which, of course, no one does. And basically our point here is we're violating it so that others can also violate it because your claim is stupid. You don't get to just build islands and claim land and water. Sorry. Now, you might wonder, because a lot of countries wonder, who gave the U.S. this authority? Why is the U.S. the world's policeman? Okay, very good. So Ian is sort of pointing out something that's true, and that is when the U.S. intervenes, the world complains. When the U.S. doesn't intervene, the world complains. When we're there, People ask, why are you here? When we're not there, people ask, why aren't you here helping? That's heavy lies the crown. Know what I'm saying? Heavy lies the crown. It's just the part of the job of being a global influencer, and that's who we are. Okay, last slide. As far as current situations, I'm giving you sort of a how you should view current events from 4 competing views of how the world should be organized. So view number 1 is called globalization. And I would argue this is what Obama believed in, a global community where nations work together, that there are treaties binding nations together. So NATO's a good thing, and NAFTA's a good thing, and the United Nations is a good thing, and this thing called the Trans-Pacific Treaty, which Trump threw away, is a good thing. The European Union is a good thing. We, know what I mean? We, together, everyone, fist, thumb out, and watch as I say in slow motion. Regular speed, together. Ready? And together. Come on! Not optional. Thumb out, and together. Again. What? Ready? Together. That's on your final. I think I'm kidding. View number 2 is what I'll call extreme nationalism, and that is the belief that we shouldn't be focused on global approach to things. We should focus on America first, America last, and in between, more America. This is Trumpism. Again, I'm not criticizing or praising. I'm simply presenting that we need to stop binding ourselves to foreign nations with annoying treaties and annoying alliances. This drags the U.S. into foreign affairs when we shouldn't be. We should be focused on America first, last, and everything in between. But we're not alone. That's what Brexit is. I don't know if any of you are aware, but there's this thing called Brexit, which literally stands for British exit. There's this thing called the European Union. Imagine the United States of Europe, and Britain is attempting to secede. They're trying to secede. They're not out yet. They're trying to. But the rest of the European Union isn't letting them. No, you're not out. But they're attempting to do so. Right? Britain first, Britain last, Britain everywhere in between. It's what Russia believes. Russia has invaded its neighbors in an effort to make Russia a more powerful entity. It's what North Korea believes. It's what China believes. It's the idea that your nation is all you should be worried about, not global treaties and global alliances. Screw them. View number 3 is called tribalism. It's not even loyalty to your nation. It's loyalty to your tribe, which might be in a nation, but it might not be. It might be beyond the borders of the nation. Think of the Kurds, right? There is no Kurdville. There is no Kurdistan. But the Kurds, people who live in northern Iraq, southern Syria, northern Iran, a distinct group of people, they don't have their own country, but they're focused on the rights of their tribe. So Afghanistan, this is a map of Afghanistan. All the colors represent all the tribes. The people in the purple area do not identify themselves as Afghani. They identify themselves as Pushtun or some other tribe. Yes?
Is there an Afghani tribe or no?
I don't. There's dozens of tribes within the area, right? The reason there's such a great deal of resentment within those areas where tribalism is real is because in their view, in the view of the people that live in that area of Afghanistan, the country was created by foreigners, right? We didn't create it. You did. So countries of the Middle East were created by the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was created by France, Britain, the U.S., and this group over here created these nations. So there's no sense of ownership. Think about how the United States became a nation. We declared independence. We made us. The countries of the Middle East, they can't say that. All they can say is, you made us. So we have a great deal of pride in our nation because we made it. They didn't make it. So there's a lack of loyalty. And then finally, the fourth ism is this religious-based view of these terrorist groups. They want a large caliphate. So you've got these groups that favor this view of the way the world should be, like ISIS, like Al-Qaeda, like even some right-wing nutcase, ultra-crazy Christians. And they're out there. A lot of them are American, by the way. They believe that the American role in the world is to make the world Jesus' land. The land of the Christians. And I would argue they're as extreme as terrorist groups that are Muslim-based. There's no difference. Maybe they don't crash planes into buildings, but they have a similar worldview, only eliminate the word Muslim and write in Christian. Right, that's fine. That's fine. You can argue that. They haven't done the terrorist attacks. Okay? 4 worldviews. Okay? Now, I'm only asking this out of curiosity. No need to voice it. Just say it in your own head. In other words, don't say it out loud. Where do you fit? No need to say anything out loud, Ian. Like I said, where's your view? Should the U.S. bind itself with other nations to create international organizations? Or should the U.S. be America first, America last, America, 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 America for breakfast, America for lunch, dinner, dessert, America, America, America. And if we do, so do other countries. Or are you about the white people? Or whoever you are, right? That's your tribe. Most of us in here, yep, white power, baby. I don't mean that. Or are you somebody that believes that the duty of you is to spread the word of whatever your religion is? Whatever you think. Okay? Any questions?
What do you think?
Okay. Give me a sec.
Give it a mix between nationalism and globalization. We should have countries that unite. But if we're making the trees, they should be trees for the countries that make us.
Cartoon analysis.
You know what I mean?
I get a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, you'll have a chance.
I want to know if I can present it.
Okay.
You can present.
No.
So I realize that somebody here might have a conspiracy theory. Awesome. You'll have your chance. Just give me a few more minutes. I'm presenting to you an optional assignment. If you don't do it, you lose no points. It's out of 0. But if you do it, it's totally bonus points, and it's frankly pretty easy. I'll give you 2 examples. Okay? I want you to look at this political cartoon and be able to sort of answer these questions that I have on the side. So just kind of look. We can see there are 2 guys here, and some guy's got a hammer, and they've got mustaches, and they've got interesting choice in clothing, and there seems to be some pieces of wood that they're hammering into place and something shining through, and see if you can figure out what's going on here, and then we'll kind of look at it together, and then I'll show you one other one. We'll look at it together, and then I'll say, all right, can you do this? Okay, give you that.
Make a cartoon?
Yeah, well, not make your own cartoon, find your own cartoon. This says radical. This one says radical leaders. And they both look like the guy I play with that gets in the car and defeats the other animals in the race. Mario Kart.
Oh.
Luigi, Mario.
Look like a
I'm
giant.
Luigi! I'm baby Luigi! Yippee!
That's the best car, right? The baby Luigi car is the best one.
No.
Take it back. We'll see what you really think. It's now in your final.
Wait, what is?
I mean, it's so wrong.
We'll see what you actually think, Ethan.
Stand your voice, Steve.
We're gonna have to click it.
No, it'll be a true false question. The car Mr. Potter said was the best is the best. True or false?
False.
We'll see what you really think.
I'm gonna say true. I really hope it's just like.
So let me just ask this question. I've lost you. Come back. Come back to me with all your heart. Don't let fear keep us apart. Trees do bend, though straight and tall. So must we to all this call. Join me. Long have I waited for your call. No, put the ball away like I asked already. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Shining through the pieces of wood that this person seems to be trying to prevent is the word truth, and another one, Americanism, and another one, public opinion. What's going on here? Yes. Yes, you're exactly right. Who's doing the censoring? I'm sorry? Radical leaders. Very good. Okay. Political cartoons are so often what are called metaphor. See, truth is out there, but these radical commies, this is a Cold War cartoon, are trying to prevent you from learning the truth by putting up their propaganda, brochures that they make that lie about truth and Americanism and public opinion. They block it with their propaganda, but the light shines through. It shines through if you look hard enough. So this is an anti-communist political cartoon. I'll give you two more. Try and figure out which one of these, I'll explain what you're looking at here. Which one of these two makes President Trump look good? And which one of these makes President Trump look bad? Okay, and that's sort of the point of view, POV. And think about who is the intended audience here. Okay, so try and look at both. And I will ask, all right, which one makes the president look good? How do you know? Which one makes the president look bad? How do you know? What's the point of the political cartoon? What's the message it's trying to send? And then I'll kind of task you with a similar task for tomorrow. If you can't read what this is, Trump, and it says, as a developer, it's a total teardown as he's knocking out the base of this thing. And there's sort of an important word there.
What's the thing on the bottom though?
Peaceful transition.
Peaceful transition that he's about to knock out. And then over here, we've got President Trump, and he's saying the media is lying. I love babies. The newspaper says Trump hates babies, and he's saying, I love babies. And then the media says pedophile, which means inappropriate lover of children. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the left one first. Hooray for Trump or boo hiss Trump?
Boo hiss.
Boo hiss. Why? What's the basis? What's the message being sent? Trump is destroying democracy. That's right, because he's destroying the base of democracy through his actions. What's the point of this? It's trying to give you a point that Trump
Is bad
But why? Yes, why though?
because he doesn't like democracy.
Well, okay. That he's acting beyond the law. Now, I'm not here saying, yep, that's absolutely true or this is absolutely false, but let's acknowledge that a significant portion of the American population believes that our president is a criminal and that he is putting up roadblock after roadblock and Congress is trying to investigate him and he's not letting it happen, right? He's destroying the fabric of American democracy. Trump the criminal. On the other hand, what's the point of this one, right? It says he hates babies, and then he says, nah, I love babies. And the media says, you're a pedophile. Anyone understand the message?
You can't say anything, like the media could turn around and get against you.
Very good. He's in a winless position. No matter what he does, the media is going to criticize him for that. That our media is hyper anti-Trump. So no matter what he does, the media will find it a bad policy. And according to Trump, they didn't do that with Obama because they loved Obama. Obama could do no wrong. And then, but Trump can do no right. Okay. So this is your task if you accept. Totally optional. If you have no intention of doing this, then tune me out. I'm sure many of you have already. But if you want to, it's totally bonus. Find any current political cartoon and just explain it. Just explain what's going on. Print it out so that I can see what you're doing. And then either on the bottom half of the piece of paper or on the other side, or you can create it online and share it with me. That's fine too. Find a political cartoon. Just explain what's going on. And you don't even have to agree with it. I don't care. Okay, any questions there? Does anyone have a conspiracy theory presentation that you feel would be a good idea for you to present? Oh, right. Let's say by the end of the week. And now for you seniors, that would have to be Thursday. For everybody else, Friday? Okie dokie. Head Kanoki?
This isn't loading.
Don't worry about it. Does anyone have a conspiracy theory presentation that you would like to share? What's your problem?
Can I present that you're a communist spy or no?
That I'm a communist spy?
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay, just making sure.
All right. Apparently I'm a communist spy. That's the conspiracy. Sweet. Can't wait to see this.
Oh, this is the dumbest thing I've ever created. It really is. It's like my college. It's in the classroom. Actually, no, it's short. That's what it is. It's short. There, bottom right.
Okay, what, how is it made of oranges?
Did you steal my pencil?
Want me to go print it
Now,
out?
do you want mine? Yeah. Yeah. This. Toss that aside.
Can you print that off your
All right. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done.
I'm fine.
All right.
All right.
Do I have the floor?
God, I was
Okay.
fat in that picture.
I'm here today.
On purpose, didn't you? You made it too wide.
I'm here today to present to you a theory that I've been thinking of ever since I met Mr. Potter. Theory that Mr. Potter is not only a communist spy, but he's a communist spy for the remnants of the Soviet Union. And here's why. Now, in this picture, it might look like Mr. Potter happily with his students, right? But this is actually a secret communist meeting. Notice how they're the only ones in the room, right? No one else knows that. He's a communist too. He's leaving. He's leaving before he hears your contagious information because you would kill him if he heard it. He always talks about doing stuff together, right? You know who all does stuff together? Communists. Yeah.
Yeah, who was saying together with me today, you commie?
He always talks about no phones, right? Have you ever wondered why Mr. Potter tells you not to go on your phone? Because he wants to restrict your access to the media. He wants to control everything you do. If you go on your phone, you might intercept the communist signals that he's sending out of this very smart board. Yeah. These might look like innocent drawings to you, ladies and gentlemen, but I can assure you they are not. These are scary monsters that Mr. Potter draws to intimidate us. If we say so much as a word, these monsters will come after us in our sleep and silence us. Yeah. This ant represents Mr. Potter's interpretation of Al-Qaeda. Now, if you remember what we learned in this class, the Mujahideen, also known as Al-Qaeda, fought against the Soviets in the Cold War. So, of course, Potter would make fun of them and call them ants because he wants to crush them. Yeah! Here we see Mr. Potter's dog. Now, little do you know, Mr. Potter's dog is actually trying to send a message here in this picture. He's crying out for help. He's like, help, help, my master is a communist. He's gonna eat me. Yeah. So you know what Mr. Potter did? He silenced his own dog. His dog was threatening his very existence as a communist. So he had to eliminate him. Yeah! In conclusion, this man right here that you see is not who you really think he is. He's actually a raging, evil Soviet communist.
Wow.
I rest my case.
That was good, man.
Anyone else?
That's pretty good.
Will's here.
Well,
He missed it. He missed it. I'm sad.
We'll go to Cub, and my daughter will say, "Dad, Grandpa crapped on the rug again," in front of other like employees.
Really, you want
And I'll say, "It's my dog."
Well, you missed it.
No, but
I just called Mr. Potter a communist spy.
Is this today or yesterday?
I can do it today.
Let's roll.
Yes.
Do it.
wait, I thought Ethan made it.
So classroom is the other tab. You see it?
My leg is dead right now. Oh my god.
I think you have to use the computer.
That's not smartboard, sir.
It's usually tapped with it.
That was so good. How do I do
I'd say 10 more times it might work.
this? Didn't work.
I think you want you ready.
Two more?
At least it's the secret comic code.
Oh, it's it's like 2 bits. That's actually called.
So is this a team thing?
Oh my goodness. I mean, he made it.
More like me and Ben Z made it for Will.
Yeah.
You and Ben made it for Will, but Will doesn't know what's there.
Yeah.
And so now there's nothing inappropriate on this, right?
Not as far as I know.
There's nothing inappropriate on this, right?
We need Ben to come on this because he may be
I would hope
I mean, this isn't something where impractical jokers.
No.
No.
I think it's
I don't saw it.
So I'm giving credit to Ethan and who?
Ben Z and
You guys are listening to this a little bit too fast.
Ben Kahanis. And Will, of course, is going to present, so that should be entertaining.
Right. Then why George? Why Curious
That's it,
George is so
Ruby?
curious? Right here. Yep.
Yeah. Well, close your eyes. Don't look at their slides.
Okay, I don't know what's past this point, so have fun.
Could use
All right.
computer. Will.
See, this already makes me uncomfortable.
Stay on the other side. You have the computer space
Oh,
bar.
you're right. All right. Why?
Promise?
I don't know. I have not looked at this.
Not you. Do you promise?
Oh.
All
right.
What I added was the program. I haven't seen it since.
I
But it
looked, I
should
looked
be,
through it,
yeah.
and it's not, there's nothing
No.
terrible.
All right.
It's just
I
like,
still think you can get fired.
no, nothing to get fired.
Yeah, you already said bloody power.
Yeah, but that, all right, well,
Yeah, but that was
Why
okay.
is Curious George so curious?
let's have this adventure
Let's
together.
find out, shall we? All right. So you see, oranges come from little cows. When it comes down to it, Curious George is so curious because one day he saw an orange and he didn't know where it came from. his dad not wanting to explain the whole idea of oranges coming from trees and seeds and fruits and all sorts of stuff. Explained they came from cows like milk because Curious George already understood that. You see, now, all right, but that was clearly a conspiracy because it is well known. It's a well-known fact that Curious George's dad, the guy who wore the freaking hat, I can't remember his name.
Man, Yellow.
Yeah, Mr. Yellow. He worked for the FBI, the CIA, and the ATF all at the same time. You can see this because that right there is an eye of a primate. Clearly, Curious George. Everybody thinks it's a human. It's actually Curious George's eye. And the main place that people use it on a daily basis is Walmart. Clearly, and Walmart having that yellow, don't trust it. Communists. All right. Okay. Now, when you go to Walmart, you might see a little known brand called Charmin. All right, Charmin Ultra. You know what their big mascot is? Bears. And you know what else? You know what else's mascot is? Bears is Russia. Russia was the biggest state in the Soviet Union, and bears were very well associated with the Soviet Union. Therefore, making Charmin a Soviet propaganda, which is tied to Walmart, which is tied back to the ATF because of the money and the FBI and the CIA and the Illuminati clearly tied through the money. Here, we'll go back to it just to show you. Clearly tied through this. And since that is an ape eye, it is linked back to the oranges, which is linked back to Curious George. Now,
Here's where you lose me a little.
no. You can clearly see from this incredibly authentic photo, and this one as well. These were photographed in perpetuity. Exactly what happened after World War II. The United States went around and rounded up all of the Nazi scientists to get on their rocket program. You know who else they rounded up? Hitler. They said that he shot himself, but he actually went to help the Americans to get to the moon base. But it was all a secret plan. The reason people think that the moon base was faked is because Hitler, on the first, there was a big cover up when they first sent a rocket into space. Hitler hijacked the rocket and started a moon base in 1962. 7 years later, Kennedy actually sent what he said was the first men to walk on the moon. It was actually the second people to walk on the moon because Hitler had been there and started a Nazi moon base. Now,
So Hitler personally went to the moon
yes,
as an American astronaut.
yes,
But didn't the Russians find Hitler?
no,
The Russians didn't get there first.
no.
Oh.
That was also a conspiracy.
Okay.
Now, as you can see, clearly what happened is that this is all in Hitler's plan. He knew that if he couldn't have Earth, nobody else could either. He said that what he did on the moon was he set up a giant UV laser, and that's why global warming isn't actually happening. The Republicans aren't right. The Democrats aren't right. No one is right. It's actually the Nazis on the moon with a giant UV laser shooting a UV ray into Earth to heat up the atmosphere and destroy our ozone layer and allow the Earth to be covered in water by melting the polar ice caps, therefore killing everybody. In the end, Hitler will have won. What?
What does this have to do with Curious George?
Oh, okay, hold on. I'll tie it back.
Don't go back.
No, he's.
All right. Now, the way that the Nazis communicate with Earth is they have invented a transportal ponder. And what they do is they beam down to the Earth and they beam back up. That's why there has been such a rise in white nationalism all over the world recently, is because the Nazis have begun infiltrating every country with their little space laser, and they come down with their skinheads, with they're shaved, because what happens when you go through the UV laser is you lose all your hair. So they go through, and now they have infiltrated the United States and all the other countries and have begun rising white nationalism. And what happens is how they get here is the UV lasers connect with tanning beds. And when a person goes in, they come out, their personality is swapped with a Nazi. All right. and that is what happens. That's why they're so orange, because the red of the Nazi flag courses through their veins and changes them orange briefly. So, as you can clearly see, highlighted through the fact that the Nazis get to Earth through tanning beds, which are brought to when they get to the Earth from the moon through UV lasers, and the Nazis have set up a UV laser on the moon because Hitler was salty about losing World War II. He got picked up by the Americans as a rocket scientist, was hijacked the first Apollo rocket, set up a Nazi moon base. This is the biggest jump here. It's hard to understand here. Now what you see is that
This is the hardest part. Though.
yes, as you see, the reason that the Nazis were able to infiltrate the United States was because the Americans were so afraid of Sharman, which is why again, Curious George's father was part of the FBI, CIA, and ATF, as he was controlling Curious George to try and create a secret super monkey breed, which clearly highlighted because its eye is a primate eye, as brought to from the oranges that Curious George asked about that one day. Curious George, that's why he's so curious. Thank you.
Therefore,
All
Curious
right,
George is
thank
Hitler.
you. Wow,
Thanks, Will.
amazing.
You made my day.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, we have nothing else planned. The real intention is for you to finish up stuff because for some reason, a whole lot of you still have a bunch to do. Do it. There are the computers right there. They're all ours. Like this thing called Test A, which is not Test B. They're two different tests. They overlap a bit, but they're not the same test. Okay. Also, political cartoon, which is
I
extra
did.
credit. You want to do it?
Good.
You're not. It's easy. Okay. So the rest of the hour is all you. So Curious George is Hitler?
No, the questions he asked were influenced by Hitler.
This is yeah, but it's not done yet. It's just a rough draft.
Well, here.
Did it already?
I already printed it out.
Well, yeah, but did you put thoughts on it? You can just print it out and hand it in. You didn't
No.
do it. Oh,
You said there.
Tell me about it.
Find one and explain it.
yeah. What's going on? Explain what's going on.
In the paper.
Right on.
Oh.
Just tell me what the point of the political cartoon is.
Thank you.
I like how I struggle to keep you guys attentive when I'm presenting, but when we present something about Curious George, you could hear a pin drop in here. It's so quiet. You guys are just all, yeah, yep, that is so.
Maybe that's a wake-up call to make it even more interesting.
Thanks, Ethan.
They didn't ask you for being